I didn't realize how much I missed you guys until I got to see you guys, you know? And I got to meet Barb in person. Love you. And Juan, yes, we didn't think that maybe the other aisle was maybe the power cord. So we thought it was Martine's, and we left a message for Martine last night. So your power cord is wrapped up with Martine's name badge on the table. If you call the front desk, they'll put it in your mailbox. If someone's around that's going to be closer to where you live, maybe they can bring it closer to you so you don't have to drive all the way in. Oh, you're muted. But at any rate, yeah, that was so good to see you guys. And I'm glad that Morning Mojo's back. I was saying to Kristen this morning that I'm like, I missed our Mojo. And it was kind of impossible for me to do both. And yet I missed my Mojo. So I'm so glad to have Mojo back. And yet many of you were together with me, and it was so great. And so I want to just talk about what you guys took. And so I would love for as many of you to, even if you don't feel like doing camera on, just speak up. And say, like, what's one thing that you grabbed from Mega Camp? And I'm going to start. I want to relaunch our community to be the community of the future, because the community of the past doesn't exist anymore. And it's not going to be the same as it was, but it's going to be better. And I realize that some of our agents are in a position where it's not smart for them to be around a lot of people. And coming into the office is not a good move for them. And yet some of you just need people, right? You know, so we're all over the spectrum of where we're at. And I was formalizing some of that in my mind while I was listening to Mega Camp. So I'm going to spend some thinking time. I'm taking my Sunday as my day for me to kind of put my arms around this. And I'm going to identify some of the communities that I know exist and launch those within the office. So that we can move forward as the new community. And I'm renaming it Onward, thanks to Greg Schreiber. He helped me come up with that name, because I was coaching with him one day and I was telling him about this, and he looked right behind me at the magazine. He goes, what if it was Onward? And I'm like, that's a great idea, because it's us moving forward as a group to running at the new future, running at what is the new norm. And, you know, bobbing and weaving through any of the other stuff that we have to get through. So I'm really excited about that. I'm totally energized by that. And if any of you have any input you want to give me or brain dump with me, I would be more than happy to get some feedback on this, because it's not just my brain, it's all of us that make this great. And one of the ideas that we came up with is a re-welcome to everybody in the office of what the future of the office looks like, and to have a little happy hour with little stations of the different things that you could get engaged with. And I want to offer that both physically and digitally. So I'm trying to put my arms and brain around that. So if any of you want to give some input on that, just message me today. And the best way to get to me is my cell phone, always. Email is my enemy, as you guys know. I only get on email like once or twice a day because I'm on this all day. So I'm going to put my cell number in the chat. So if you want to participate in any way with this with me, just give me a call or a text. I'd love to have it. So who wants to share next? Barb's up. Okay.
So my one thing is going to be to open up Command every morning and keep it open. And even though I might have to do other things, update that and get everybody labeled A, B, C, D vendor or realtor, and really get my database up to speed so that I can do all these marketing campaigns that I'm going to start doing.
Great. And you know what? You dialed that down to your one thing. It just open it up, you know? And right. So with that, Barb, just an idea, if you have dual screens, just have it open on one. Yeah. And right. The cool thing is when you wake up in the morning and you're working real estate, look and see who's interacting, because if you can change your dashboard, and I'll just quick screen share this while I'm talking. I'm going to get better at screen sharing and showing while I'm talking versus just telling you, because I think that's important. Oh, they're making upgrades. Guess I can't go on right now. But basically what I love about it is you can move your dashboard around to whatever you want. So if you put leads at the top, anybody that's messing around with anything you're sending them pop up. And so I have a good story on this. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Mark's like, some person is refinancing. I don't even know who they are. Well, my niece, who refinanced with us with the stimulus package, was talking about how much money she was saving. to one of her buddies and then shared Mark's app. And now this girl's on Mark's app and it's showing this girl. And so Mark's calling her and like, who are you and what do you need? And she's like, thank you so much. And he's like, I don't even know who you are. So it really works. And anything that anybody's doing on any of your stuff, you can track and see them. So let's just say Barb had a Facebook ad and she just put them on one of those great drips that we found out about yesterday, one of those great smart plans with the 7.5% conversion. And they hadn't done anything for 3 or 4 months and all of a sudden they're all over her page. She's going to see that. So just know that'll be like a clue, like, ooh, this person's playing along with me. But that's beautiful. You dialed it down to your one thing, not like, I'm going to use command every day for 20 minutes. No, you said, I'm going to open it up. Right?
Right.
Because that's where it starts, right? We learned that with the one thing. Awesome.
Okay, well, I wanted to remind you real quick too, when we were out to dinner the first night, you talked about what is my why, and you said you were going to thing about that. So I just wanted to remind you because I don't think it made it to the morning board of things.
Well, the big why is what motivates us and gets us rolling. And let's be honest, that's everything. So big why, MREA book club. And I saw that James Shaw is doing a 1-day workshop on MREA. I know you'll see promo on that. I'm going to talk to him and ask him if he's intending to do a book club as well. And if not, I'm going to tell him I'm doing a book club. Will you promote it to that crew so that we can have a really powerful book club for MREA? Because yesterday when I just talked database basics and tagging, my aha was you guys didn't even know what to do for tagging. And I'm like, whoa, I need to back up a little, because tagging shouldn't be like, you're a buyer to me or I met you at an open house. It's where am I at with you in relationship, right? It really is. Because your communication plan should be equal to your relationship, not a buyer. And yet a buyer is a moment in time I am. And if you think about it, your entire database is a lead. Not today, maybe it's 4 years from now I need another house, or maybe it's next year I need another house, or next year I'm going to buy an investment. But everybody in your world is a lead when they're ready. And your job is to stay in communication with them in a communication cadence that's normal and not weird, right? You don't want to be overdoing it to a friend like, hey, I know you're selling real estate, back off. Or if it's someone that is not quite ready, top of funnel, and you get too aggressive with texting them, they might unsubscribe because they're like, whoa, I'm not ready yet, right? It's really about that. So definitely big why and fundamentals of MREA is really what we're going to get back down to. So I love that. So thanks for the reminder. Okay, who wants, Kristen, you want to go next? Okay, you're up.
Sure. I thought that Gary Keller's opening about the economy was absolutely fabulous. It was so far above and beyond anything else I've been able to find. But even beyond that, all those sheets that I downloaded and the availability of hearing these, what's being successful out there, like I'm kind of trying to lead gen this way and lead gen that way, and I'm not feeling this confidence that I really am knowing the right way to do it and what's working. And so hearing them and having the notes will take me to a next level, because I will have that confidence, and I'm really good at like seeing what other people are doing and taking it and making it my own. So
well, that's the magic of our culture, is that we actually share in detail specifically what we're doing. And here we've got, what's the guy's name with the awesome smart plan that's getting 7.5% conversion?
Tyler Shields.
Marty Miller. Who is it?
Marty Miller.
Oh no, Tyler Shields is kicking his
butt.
So
Right.
Tyler Shields, here's the guy that not only figured it out, beta tested it. He's like, and then here you go. So I love what you said, Kristen, because I think all of us are a little guilty of, I'm going to do a little of this, I'm going to do a little of that, I'm going to do a little of this, little of that. And we never get into momentum in any area. And yet if you listen to them, first of all, they were all being featured because their gross commission income was over $1 million. Hello, that's like a decent sized brokerage, right? So these guys got it figured out, and yet we don't even have to worry about figuring it out, right? We just have to pick our sweet spot and dial it in. So I would challenge everyone to maybe look at what you're doing and figure out what is your sweet spot. You know, if you're not real fond of the phone, and there was a guy talking about calling FSBOs every day, that's probably not the guy to follow. But if you're really connected with people and a community is your deal, there was a lot of events in community and Facebook yesterday and the day before, weren't there? These people, 5 years ago may have gotten poo-pooed by other realtors saying, you're not even working, you're playing on Facebook, right? You're just playing. No, they have built a community, a tribe that are just referring them like, man, who wants that? I do, right? Well, you're my tribe, right? Where's your tribe? And yet, Kristen, you have so much knowledge and information to share, and you're so smart. And yet you can, if you don't stay in your sweet spot and you try to be someone else, you're just not going to feel right about it, are you?
Exactly.
So just post single white female, one of these guys that are really great, and just stalk them and do everything they're doing. Right?
Yes. And if I don't feel right about it, it comes through crystal clear on me. I like wear my energy on my everywhere. So
you got to be true to you. You got to be authentic, right? Okay, who wants to share? Who's up next?
I'd like to talk about something.
Yeah.
What I love about, that whole experience is there's a whole nother world out there of caring, hardworking, passionate, community-driven people that you just don't see on the news. And our leadership is so phenomenal that creates this culture where we're all about how can we help others, and by helping others, it uplifts us all. And Gary starts off, he's got me in tears, talking about who am I really? Well, I'm love, I'm compassion, I'm generosity. And you know what? He is. That's the core of himself. Strip away everything else. And he said to us, self-image is a choice. Your bigger vision translates into a bigger life. And happiness is a habit. It's a gift you give yourself. The biggest challenge is accepting that your vision can be okay, because no matter what is happening, you can create success for yourself. And that to me was such a relief from everything that we've been experiencing in the last 6 months. And then when I saw Jessica's tribe in person, all you little boxes, I saw you in person.
I wanted to hug you all. I can't wait till we can hug.
Anyway, that's my I'm sorry it's not very
No, because Jude, I was just gonna show you this. This is my notes. My first note was happiness is a habit.
Yeah.
Self-confidence is learned.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us are looking for confidence. And he put set out to master something specific to achieve. It will develop your self-confidence. So that's back to you, Kristen. It's not being good at all these little things. It's go deep on one thing that you're naturally gifted and meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Judy, your tribe, I'm going to ask you just to share a little more. Jude, I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about what you did with your tribe with Cindy's Pets, and you pulled that together exceptionally quickly. But tell us what you did for your last event.
Well, there's an organization that I've worked with a number of times that I'm particularly passionate about because it's so hyper local. It's the type of organization that every dollar you give really, first of all, it goes straight to the cause, and second of all, it really makes a difference. And Cindy's Pets delivers pet food along with Meals on Wheels to about 300 senior citizens, homebound senior citizens in Pasco County, right here where we are. And they lost their biggest fundraiser of the year due to COVID. And their biggest fundraiser, well, they have two, and they both bring in like 8,000-9,000. This is not $1 million, right? So I said, to my team, I'm like, we're going to make that up for them. We're going to make this happen. Oh my God, there's a man in my back.
I know. I just say that. Hopefully he looks like he's spraying for bugs or something.
Anyway, thanks to my buddy, Darlene Jones, she's like, you got to buy a green egg. You got to buy a green egg. She just was so bent on this.
Thank you, Darlene, for getting her to buy the green egg.
Buy the green egg. And we have a new restaurant that just opened next door that has a lot of space, open air. We did invitations, RSVP only. And we also did a GoFundMe page. Thank you, Jessica. You got us going on that. And in 2 hours at this event, we raised $5,400. Yay.
Isn't that amazing?
And our GoFundMe page, we're back like 1,200. So we've got close to $6,500. And now we're back home now. I got to regroup, but I have a second wave of, I have an idea of what to do to get all the way. I want 10,000. I want to beat their average,
Well, and Judy, you just did, because you have built your community. So you're such a good role model for this. You have built your community. You've been very hyper local in your neighborhood, and you've been working hard and building relationships for years. And yet, if you were just moving into Gulf Harbors, you could have gotten where you're at, knowing what you know now, in probably 3 years, couldn't you have?
Well, true. I've been building it for a long time, but what we did, and you can do this kind of thing virtually. You can do a drive where if you have a really nice raffle item and you want to create, if people bought a $50 ticket, they got a chance. Was it 50 or 25, Dar? No, I can't remember. It was 25.
But you know what, Judy, here's the point. You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. So you know what? All of you have the ability, if you wanted to do that, to do that. You just have to figure out what is your community? What is your tribe? So very cool. Okay, who wants to share next?
Next group is Yarsha.
Oh, my Alexa's talking to me. Quiet, Alexa. Who wants to share next? Anybody? Okay. Well, I'm really proud of you guys because we have so much good to go move forward with. And yet what I had my aha was there's some basics we need to talk about. And a lot of you all know that you need to go back to your database and kind of get real with it and get right with it. And I want to just warn you of two things that could stop you from success. One is overwhelm, and two is just a very simple habit, like Barb said, open it up, right? So if you are like me, I was able to connect my phone and Gmail and Facebook and LinkedIn, which I haven't been on personally in, I don't know, 7 years. And all this data flew in. And I was like, wow, I have 7,000 people in my database. And yeah, I do. I have more than 7,000. And yet I don't have 7,000 A's. I don't have 7,000 people I would invite to a local event. And so if you are like me and you've got more than you can handle, you probably do. And it's not a true close database, but it's all good data. I want you to just put a plan in place that you can live with. And it really just starts like with your alphabet. Start with letter A and work through and pull the gold out first. So something I really want to just share real fundamental. I just want to go back to tagging for just a second. Because a lot of you, if I looked at your tag ideas, you'd have open house. I met them at an open house, or I met them networking, or they're in my sphere of influence. And all those things are great, but they don't really have any truth behind, like, what are you going to do with them? So if you met with me at an open house, am I good enough to invite to a fundraising event? Well, I may not really know who you are, and you may not be really willing to communicate with me, or you may really have not built a relationship. So here's what I want you to think about. When you tag, because you're in the contact, you might as well do it right. I want you to think of level of relationship, source, and then other. Because you can have multiple tags for someone. And yet if you don't first identify the level of relationship, the source or other is moot. So let's just say you met me at an open house and we barely spoke. Am I an A? No, I'm more like a C. You don't really even know me. I'm not even an acquaintance. So I'm just giving you what I've always done. You can complicate it if you want, but I'm going to challenge you that you don't need to. The level of relationships I've always identified as A, B, C, D, vendor, or realtor. And then some of you will say, well, no, I have this little niche. So I'm gonna pick on Juan for a second because he's got several really important niches.
Right. Yeah.
Juan, what is your role at NAREP? Can you please share with everyone, because it's pretty exceptional and I don't think everyone understands the leadership role you have.
Okay, I'm currently the vice president of the Tampa Bay chapter of NAREP. basically covering Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough County. And for those who don't know, NARUP is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Awesome.
That's lenders, realtors, anything associated with real estate across the country.
So kind of a big deal, huh? Little opportunity there, guys, right? So that is a big group of people in his world. And yet if I go back to this, let's just say I'm one of Juan's NAREP friends. In his database, I'm going to be tagged realtor NAREP.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but let's just say I'm a buddy of Juan's. I'm an A. I might be SOI because we're just friends for whatever reason. And I might be a specific neighborhood.
Right.
So I may have 3 tags, but to be totally honest, if I don't have the relationship tag or level of relationship tag, your database tagging is meaningless.
Okay.
Because you're going to identify based off the level of relationship you have with someone, how you communicate with them so that you're an effective communicator. And I'm going to be ultimately changing how I communicate with you guys too. Because let's just be honest, if you are very experienced in this office, do you really want to know about Ignite? No. You probably teach Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
But do you really want to know about the special trainer that we have coming in from California to talk about short sales? Yes, right? You want the most important thing that's going to matter of you. Barb's sphere of influence, SOI, database, relationship. That's what SOI is. So just make sure when you're going in and you're tagging that at least tag relationship level. And A's are people that are local, meaning that you could list their house. They're close enough that you could list their house. And you're close enough that you'll call them and that you'll have a back and forth conversation. B's, you're not that comfortable with. Frankly, you don't feel comfortable calling them. You never really got that much relationship with them. They may be a friend of a friend or someone that you kind of hit it off with at an open house, but then never really got with them again. Acquaintance. C's, just think of data that you can't remember. Can't remember where this data came from, but they're in your phone. They're somewhere, so you might as well mark it to them. Don't delete anybody. Delete like 1-800-PRO-FLOWERS and that kind of stuff that goes in your database. But keep the rest of the data because data is important. Don't delete it. And a database is never clean, so get over it if you have OCD because it'll never be pretty. So just remember, A's are people you love, people that you would call, people that you would spend time with. You have a relationship with them. It goes back and forth. B's are more like one-sided acquaintance. You haven't really built much relationship with them. C's, you can't remember, but you got their data, so we're going to continue to market to them. And D's are people that you love like an A, you have a relationship with like them like an A, but they live out in Orlando, or they live down in Miami, or they're up in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm not going to go list their house. However, I want to still put them on a neighborhood nurture, and I want to share all my good things like my stimulus plan and ways to save money because I can help them nationally. However, I'm setting them up on that neighborhood nurture for their local neighborhood so that if they start interacting and playing along, I know to go reach out to them and refer them to a local agent. It's missed opportunity otherwise. And then realtors and vendors. You're going to have lots of realtors in your database. Those could be great friends that you're making that end up being at a Keller Williams office that you will earn profit share from. So definitely build that realtor database. You don't have to like delete them out of your database, but do you want to share your best ideas with your competitor? Probably not. So if you come up with some cool marketing thing that you're doing or cool event you're going to do, you may not send that to the realtors. And then vendors are your best allies and resources. Those are the glue to your community. So if you're my community, okay, and we know that at Star Title, Karen is this rock star if you get a short sale, and I introduce you to her, and I will because she's really good, and Greg was telling me all about how great she is. That's me giving you guys value with someone that's in my world, right? And you do the same to your database. So if this is your sphere of influence and we have a storm come through and there's some damage and wind damage and you've got a great arborist and you've got a great roof guy and you've got a great inspector and you've got a great whatever, you're going to want to go to your database with those folks. And that's where you're going to pull out your vendor list and honor them and help them build their business. So if you want to keep it really simple, that is a great way. Now, you will have tribes like NARREP, like neighborhoods. Yeah, that's a second tag. That's not the only tag. And truth be told, a lot of you will put buyer or seller. Well, if you guys are in my database and I'm looking at you right now, you're all a lead. You're always a lead forever. Truth be told, you may not be a lead today because you don't need a house today, but you're always a lead. You're always a buyer and you're a seller. So don't tag buyer seller unless they're active, but then they're a lead. They're not just in your database. So keep that. I want to make sure everyone got that. Are any questions around that? Because it's really important. If you're going to go through the effort of starting with A and pulling the gold out of your database, I want you to not waste time and not do it so that it's scalable for what's possible for you. Does that make sense? So Donna, a B would be like a total acquaintance, someone that you would not pick up the phone and talk to, that you don't know well enough to call them. And I'm going to tell you, Bs are a huge group, and they're the biggest missed opportunity in your world, because A's you run into and your sphere of influence runs into them, and they're mindful that you're a realtor because they know you are. They see you on Facebook posting stuff. Bs, you may not have as a Facebook friend, and you should have, so that they could see that you're a realtor. They may not even remember that you're a realtor, and you probably aren't communicating with them at a high level. And so just think what you could do with the Bs. Just think of making the Bs a B+. And as soon as you get back and forth communication with a B, what do they become? An A. Yeah. So just think of all the opportunity you have right there. And yet, if I was to give you a challenge for the rest of the year, nothing else matters besides this database. Nothing else matters. So keep that in mind. That's your gold in front of you. Now, for those of you that have a small database because you relocated like I did, you know what? Then it's people grabbing, and the fastest people grab was the Facebook ads. Facebook ads, and then networking and open houses as it becomes more socially acceptable and vigorous. Those would be the things I would think about doing. So I'm really proud of you guys for engaging in Mega Camp. I hope you got your value out of it. I know I did. And I'm really looking forward to my Sunday to kind of get my brain all around this. And for any one of you that want to give some feedback to me on tribes, I'm going to create a task force that I'm going to meet with pretty regularly to run ideas and flush ideas by. Any one of you that want to be part of it, I'd love your feedback in what this crazy brain's thinking so that it really is what you guys need and want. Because I read your minds kind of well, but it's better when I get direct feedback. Let's be honest. So it's Friday, guys. Let's finish the week strong. Have a powerful weekend. Rest if you need rest. Recharge your batteries, because Monday, we're going onward. And invite anyone in the office you know that maybe needs a little pick-me-up like this. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Onward.
Take care, guys.
Onward.
Big hugs.